Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome to blog number 30. Quite a few, isn't it now? I'd never thought I'd have been going for this long, to be honest with you, when I first started. As in blogging, that is. So, what's been going on for me for the last 3 and a bit weeks? Quite a bit. Made a few, what I think are quite important life decisions, but I think for the right reasons, and you'll see why as this blog progresses. First major one, I've spoken about doing a few documentaries in previous blogs and stuff, and one came to the fore 2 weeks ago, and I got an offer to appear in a documentary on national television. It wasn't trans related specifically, it was to do with tattooing, and I got the opportunity to appear in that, and I've turned it down, and the reason being is that I think when I first transitioned I was all for raising awareness for the cause and stuff. Events of recent weeks, you look at the trans teacher Lucy Meadows, who was outed by the disgusting Daily Mail, and basically she took her own life early this week. It's awful. You look at the pressure that trans people face, and that wasn't a contributing factor to my decision, but certainly I thought about the impact that doing something like that could have on my daughter, and I've already done enough to her anyway. So, I'm not doing it. It was a wonderful opportunity, but the wrong time. And so I've knocked that back. I've met a few friends recently as well. One who had seen my stuff at Trans Awareness Week that we did in Bournemouth a couple of months ago, and she wanted to meet me because of that. And she fell in, and then she couldn't. And then we met a few weeks ago, and it was brilliant. Really nice to meet someone who was. She was from Norway, and she lived in the States and stuff, and she was over here doing a master's in journalism. So it was really nice to have a conversation with someone who was completely new and different, and that was really cool. And I met a very lovely lady called Sophie, who I'm sure she'll come to be a dear friend. But yeah, I think you're an awesome chick. Don't go changing for anyone. Yeah, really, really cool. It was lovely meeting her. And what else has been happening? I went, which is a big deal for anyone who is trans, I guess. I went back to the place I used to live before I transitioned, but as myself. And I wasn't nervous, not really. I got there, and it was much earlier than I thought I would. I left myself plenty of time because I just like to do that. And rather than stay in the hotel room, I faced my fear, if you like, and I was brave and actually walked around the town where I used to live, and it was quite a shock, to be honest with you, because I had people laughing and pointing and people shouting from cars and stuff on the way to the town, and I was like, really? It was kind of like going back 8 months to when I first transitioned. And I think that on the whole, the town where I live now, it's Bournemouth, everyone knows that through my vlogs and stuff, it's only the transient people who used to give me rubbish anyway, because the people of Bournemouth and who live here and stuff, there's a big gay community here, and people are used to seeing people who are different, and they don't really care. They just accept people for who they are, kind of thing. So it was a bit weird. I felt like the only trans in the village, literally. It was quite an eye-opener, but it made me. It was an affirmation for me that I made the right decision to move after once I transitioned, purely because I think I wouldn't be as advanced now and comfortable and everything as had I not moved. So that was good, because it was a kind of an affirmation that I've made the right decision. Certainly, the time apart from my little one, I do miss them terribly, and we had a great time together. It was brilliant. Say goodbye was terrible as always. I hate it. It breaks my heart, but what can you do? I think it's the right decision for them long term to be away from them as well, just because there'll be less fallout from me doing this if I'm away from them rather than living next to them. So yeah, that's good. And also the last few weeks, I know I've talked in my previous blogs about opportunities for television documentaries, and I got an opportunity to do one for Channel 4 got a phone call, email a few weeks ago saying you're still up for it, and I wasn't really sure anyway. And I've spoken to a lot of friends and stuff. Rob Huffler particularly, thank you for your sound advice. But in essence, you know, I've done a lot for the trans cause already, and when I did register an interest in the programme, was really new to this, and I just wanted to get out there and kind of give a message. And I think that it would be too damaging for mainly my daughter, so I'm not going to do it. I have to think about the implications for her, and you know, I've done enough in doing this and moving away. I can't put them through that, so I'm not going to do it. And you know, I'm sure the filmmakers are a bit upset in my change of decision, but I hope if they do watch this, because I know one of the guys was watching my vlogs, that he actually gets it. I can't jeopardise that. You know, you look at the treatment of the Daily Mail, but by the Daily Mail of Lucy Meadows, the trans teacher, who actually committed suicide last week because she couldn't handle the pressure of having been outed by that scumbag newspaper. Unbelievable. It's really sad, and it just goes to show that I talked about stealth in my last vlog. You know, everyone has a right to privacy and a right to live their life in the way that they choose and want to, without other people ridiculing them. I know it's human nature to kind of bully in a way, or to point things out that are different, and I hadn't experienced it for a while, and I did this weekend, and it just kind of made me a bit more resolute, to be honest with you. I had an amazing time on Friday night as well. I went out with a few friends, and it was really good just to catch up with genuine nice people who actually give a shit about me still. Yeah, it was good. If I seem a bit subdued, it's because I am quite tired. Other than that, life's just moving on, just doing more and more what you guys would class as normal things. So that's the thing about us trans people, we are quite normal. You know, you scratch anyone under the surface and you find we're intrinsically we're all the same. We just want to be accepted for who and what we are, and to just have the freedom to get on with our life without judgment, really. So yeah, that's where my life is at. One thing I will say, and it's kind of dawned on me, and this may help anyone who's trans out there, or coming to terms with anything that they're struggling with internally. I think a lot of the time, if we have a goal or an aspiration, it can become so consuming that it actually, any positives in it become negative, because you're so consumed. Oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. You forget all the other stuff. And for me, I could, and this is why I'm going to say this. In essence, yeah, I'm a trans person, and you know, I have to go through a pathway from a healthcare point of view for the NHS to help me achieve my goal. And as a trans person, you can get so bogged down in the I haven't heard from this, I haven't heard this, this hasn't happened, because you have a specified periods as to when you're supposed to hear updates from clinics, etc., that you actually forget to live life, because you get so caught up in the whole goal, you're actually forgetting that, you know, the whole aim of it is to, you know, transition as a whole person, and you know, kind of make friends and do things that would be considered as normal. Yeah, so that's one thing that's kind of dawned on me, and I think it's why I've kind of finished my therapy now as well, with my that I was having, you know, because you know, this is quite a difficult thing to do with being trans, for the time being anyway. My therapist is quite fine with how I've settled into my life and stuff, and I'm going to become a trans support worker. So yeah, I'm really happy with how things are going, but in essence I think that's what we need to do. Sometimes we need to just not put as much pressure on ourselves, and kind of, you know, if you're working towards something, each little thing that you do, no matter how big or small, is a step towards that, and kind of give yourself credit for that. Don't just kind of get bogged down by the, you know, the whole aim that you're going towards. You know, kind of break it down into little parts, to kind of look at it and analyse and think, actually I'm moving towards it anyway, so I don't have to put that much pressure on myself. And you'll actually find that probably you'll get there quicker in a far better state mentally anyway. whatever it is. So yeah, that's my little pearl of wisdom for this blog. That's pretty much it. Got a few night outs to look forward to coming up. Going to a beer festival, which will be interesting because I didn't even go to one in a former life. So yeah, just doing normal everyday stuff really, just being happy being me. Not sure when I'll blog next, but yeah, in terms of, you know, I do it for me as a diary. I feel kind of just settled in life and happy generally. I nearly forgot, oh my goodness, there was one kind of thing. I kind of met someone and there was a little bit of an interest there. I liked them, but they weren't ready for a relationship, which I was cool about. And we were kind of just friends, and then all of a sudden, was meant to meet her, and text her, didn't hear anything, found, didn't hear anything, Facebook, didn't hear anything, and this person was updating it in Facebook on the interim. So I knew that that person had seen my posts, and I just left it that night, and then the next day they were meant to be coming round, and it's like text, found, Facebook, nothing, and I just went cut them out of my life. It's like, I don't get why someone would treat you like that, why they would be like, to all intents and purposes, a friend one minute and the next to kind of just not respond. Weird. I mean, if you're watching this, your loss, not mine, but it's just, yeah, I haven't got time for anyone like that in my life, to be honest with you. If you don't like it, then, you know, jog on, but at least have the courage to stand up and say something. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to sign off, and if anyone ever has anything they want to ask, by all means ask. Keep it clean. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care, be kind, because in life you reap what you sow. Alright, take care, bye.